thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true, yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's the man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher, freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, so come from earth we may be, but we are life-born spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring it master teacher, bring it freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring it master teacher, bring it freedom for the master, master teacher, 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 freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They didn't finish. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down, make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do everything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true, yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about for the master, master teacher, freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring a master teacher, bring a freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring a master teacher, bring a freedom for the master, master teacher, 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 freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on.
Freedom,
They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished.
freedom,
They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down, make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult.
Bring home now, bring home now. It's freedom, master teacher, freedom, master teacher. Bring home now, bring home now. It's freedom, master teacher, freedom, master teacher.
Naot moglas padejanom patakyut. Loki jawef pa ashuk empa paut. Ukalal ashuk kaun jawef neya. Anuki kasam un empa paut. Uka paut kaun kasam un em neya. Anuki wahu ame pa paut. Uka paut kaun wahu ame neya. Na kodor na job ame kasam un empa paut. Uhabur ame mushkasum. Na kodor na job pafef na kod harut jawef pa paut. Ame wase ame aratni kawun layef bakoy jawef pa paut. Anoki yabedia na fashni. Pa paut kawun anoki. Pa paut kador na kuk kador. Pa paut amul na kuk amul.
That's absolutely fine. Rahubad Moisa. We'll send for those who do want a copy, we will we can post it. Are you in our forum, our Kayak forum, where we post certain things and information? If you leave your number with the sister upstairs after class, or if you leave earlier, leave your number, and then you can join part of our platform, and then we can post. We post a lot of different things in there. Okay. Okay, Rahubat Moisar again for another welcome to another Q&A question and answer class. Sometimes turning to a topic class with myself, student teacher of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Kobina Z York Okran. Okay, my name is Usia Ka'a Reye. I'm a student teacher of the master teacher, as stated, and our job is to deliver Wu-Sabat to the world. Okay, it's a outformation to information to inflame the nation. The topic for today is Planet Earth your final destination? It'll be read from a series of different books authored by the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z York, and also with your own interaction and input. Let me just straighten my crown. Okay, because I like interactive. I like when, you know, audience participation. So I would like you to participate as well. See where you are with understanding what Wu-Sabat is teaching, because that's the reason why I do the audience participation. That's why we as teachers do that, so that we can see, sometimes we can feel where clarity needs to be sought, etc. And also to expound on certain things and make it more clearer. Clarity is better than walking out of here saying, I didn't understand what that brother was talking about, you know, and then, yeah, you just don't want to come back the next time, etc., etc. I mean, don't get me wrong, Rahubat, you know, this information is for everyone, but it has to resonate with you. And we're not by trying to force you to accept what we teach, but we teach facts. And sometimes it may not sit very well with everybody, factual knowledge and right understanding. So the master teacher has been teaching since 1968, 1970 officially. And, you know, wrongfully is incarcerated now. And we're pushing, working tirelessly, even though you may not see it, we're working tirelessly for his freedom, and he will be free. Okay. Right, so without further ado, I can open up this class for what I'm going to pose. Is the question, is planet Earth your final destination? Any takers on that? Is planet Earth your final destination? What do people think? Is this officially where you will be? This is your destination, this is where you're going to be at? You're not going to go anywhere else? What do people think or take? What's your take on it? What's your understanding in Wu-Sabat? Feel free, really, feel free. Just, it's not a wrong or right question, because it's all about just building.
My understanding is we move on to next solar system.
We move into another solar. Okay, truth. That works. How do you do that? Gonna get right into it. How do you do that? So that's why you're here. I'm glad. See, so we a lot of people do believe, you know, of a next destination. Some people call it heaven. Yeah. Some people call it what's the word in Arabic? What's the word for it in Arabic?
Jannah.
Yeah, Jannah. There you go. Yeah, so people have different ideas of their. So I'm looking for my there you go. So people have different ideas of where this paradise is, this destination is, but not necessarily where or how to actually transcend and move on to that destination. So let's just begin first and foremost. Why is it called Earth? Does anyone know? Why is this planet called Earth for a start? Yeah, because we talk about we're here on the planet Earth, but is it really Earth? Because most of it is water. 70 to 80% of this dome this environment is water. So why do we call it earth? They say that it's to do with the soil of the ground. Yeah, the soil, you know what I mean, the landscape, etc., makes it called earth. But then you have to ask yourself, this is what we do in what we teach, right knowledge. Where does that term come from? Because we call it earth, but what's the origin of the word? When you do your research into the etymology of it, in the English, you have one definition, but you go to the origin of the actual word, it's from the word ard or eret, yeah, which goes all the way into the Sumerian language, iridu. Iridu. Okay? So when you're saying iridu, or when you hear that word, what is it explaining? Well, as we've been taught, iridu means home away from home. Home away from home. So when people say, well, I'm an earth being, I live here, I was born here, I'm an earthling, know that there's a term that's telling you, when you look at the origin of it, that you're from somewhere else. Because you're saying home. So where's this home? Where is this home away from home? When you say your prayers, or people say prayers, they say, Our Father who art in heaven. Okay? You know, when people, religious people say their prayers. Even in our Misbatia, we say Sa'a. Okay? And what's the word? What's our other one? We're going there. Sabah. Sabah and Sa'a, yeah? So we have two places, Orion and Sirius. Okay? Where this is translated into the heavenly abode. So most cultures talk about a heavenly abode. So it's obviously by that definition and by that, you know, calculation, and when you work it out logically, Earth is not your final destination. So how did you get here? What happened to get us to be born on Earth? Okay, and then you look through the story and the teachings of our ancestors, it talks about that there was star systems that died, various star systems by our ancestors, and other cultures talk about star systems that died, and then some ended up came here, traveling through the stars. So in the Germanic teachings, they refer to beings known as Pleiadians, okay, who came from the stars and found Earth.
Star seeds.
Star seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they refer to them as star seeds, yeah, in some websites. Yeah. So Pleiadians, and then you have beings Arcturians, you have beings from Dragos, okay? The Big Dipper, when you look into all of these constellations and stars, all refer to coming to Earth. And the ancient name for Earth at one time was called Tiamat. Okay, maiden of life. That's what Tiamat means, maiden of life. And as the teachings has been taught by Dr. Malachi Zejok about the beings known as the Anunnaki, etc., tell you that they came from a dying world on a planet craft, and then they were looking for something. So again, the question is, Earth, it can't be our final destination. You know, there's something beyond that. But the question now lies is, okay, if it's not our final destination, how do we get back there? So the brother was saying, I don't know, that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? I want to know, how do we get back there? Okay, so I'm just going to read something from Pa Balag, if you can see that. Pa Balag, Ya Nanan, the message of Yanun.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What did you say to your mouth?
The maiden of life. And then we'll go to the Black Book, part 1, and you'll realize that there are many species of extraterrestrials that came here. So I'm going to read from verse, well, it's not really a verse, it's from paragraph on page 6. It explains like this. August 12, 2013, another opening of the Chaillet vortex. Okay, so there's implies here that something opens up. All right, and within Wu-Sabat, the teachings is that every 10 years, a vortex opens. All right, but the beings have to be prepared to go through that vortex. You see what I'm saying? Although, because they have read just how they have logged time, we really are not truly aware of the Zamut day and Wakut time in which we are living. In any case, we are in the hereafter, in the 7,000th year, and in the first year of the first 6,000 years of the next 24,000 year cycle. Does anyone follow that? Yeah? The dimensional shift has already happened. What so many think will be a physical sign or detectable shift has already occurred in the minds, akal-at, minds and ibab hearts of the people. Yeah, so people are looking for this physical thing taking place, but it's actually the way your mind thinks. It's the way you start to look after yourself. It's the way you start to respect nature and things like that. You're changing, you're shifting. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that natural shift is happening again to the planet. So you're naturally going to start moving towards that dimensional shift if you're prepared. Okay? So the journeys to the stars. Our ancestors always knew that they call it the opening of mouth ceremony. That being that there you see there Osiris, okay? That was the Osiris was a being that was responsible, okay, where his energy, okay, that ritual was the opening of that gateway to the Orion stars. So there was never a time where we were supposed to just be here and that was it for us. You know, or even other star people that came to this planet. Their origin was always back to the stars. Okay? Reading on. So the parts of the people, just look around and you will see just as plain as day for yourselves, who is still resisting, who is still listening, who is progressing, who is regressing. There have been so many ways to say the same things over the years in many Hazabat cultures the world over. Are you a descending being or ascending being? Smoking or non-smoking? Two were in the field. One sorry, let me just let somebody in. One was taken. The separating of the goat from the sheep has already begun and continues. Which will you be? You must tune in to realign, to raise your vibration to a certain level. Your Muslafu ancestors, your etheric parents, your Sarkum, your family will be there to guide you through the gates. When that time comes, you must be ready. You must not let the disagreeable Salafu ancestors or outside influences deter you and cause you to descend lower than you are. This is one of the reasons why the destination is not here, because Earth is actually a school, it's a prison, yeah, that we found ourselves in. So going back to these star systems that have died, one of them was Sirius B, okay, that collapsed. And then the beings that, is that right, Sirius B? C, isn't it? C, sorry, Sirius C, beg your pardon. So I'm just trying to get my alphabet together. So Sirius C was the beings there who had found a way to raise their higher vibrational frequency were able to be moved and relocated to the Orion and other star systems. And the ones that didn't make it, they had to be resent back to learn. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is where we're at, because we're having to relearn what we once knew. Okay? Now, originally, we could transmute, we could transform, and we could just move into higher realms. But as time went on, we got lesser and lesser, we got more more densified. We partook more of the physical as opposed to the etheric or spiritual part of us. We didn't practice it, we didn't strengthen it, you see? And then that obviously allowed other forces that came onto this realm to then mix in with us and keep us here. And this has now become a prison. So your body, our bodies have become a prison, yeah, where we are trying to leave. But like I said, there's a way to leave. And I mentioned one of them. It's a star gateway. It's a gateway. It's not what religion teaches. You die, if you're good, you're going to go to heaven. And that's it. Do you know what I mean? God is going to meet you at the pearly gates. You know, what's your name? St. Peter will say, what's your name? Oh, you did well? Oh, you look, okay, let me through. Let me let you through. Yeah, and you're going to meet all your relatives and everything's fine. Everyone's great. That's not how it goes. You have to develop yourself. You have to put in the work. And that's what many religions don't teach, that you have to put in the work, you know, of disciplining your own being. Because so many dogmas have been put into religion, it's thrown off the masses to actually know what they're supposed to do. And they believe that someone's going to come back and take them up into this place, you see what I'm saying, called heaven or Jesus or God or Allah or whatever the case may be. So, as I said, you must tune in to realign, to raise your vibration to a certain level. Your Muslafu ancestors, your etheric beings, your Sarkum, will be there to guide you through the gates. When that time comes, you must be ready. You must not let the disagreeable Salafu ancestors or outside influences deter you and cause you to descend lower than you are. Two beings will come, Munkar and Nakar. Demon beings with black skin and blue eyes will try to trick you with, with religious questions, okay? Ignore them and think on my own relatives, my own ancestors. And they will fade from sight. You must pass through the 9 gates of Mawat death to leave this realm. Okay, so there are gates that you actually will pass through in order to leave this realm. It's not just a straight trajectory into heaven, or vice versa. Do you know what I mean? If you didn't do well, you're then purgatory, hell, pitchfork, man who's stabbing you to get into the fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it explains that the gates shift like the second hand on a clock. In each Madra realm are beings, some good, others wicked, most trapped over time. Yeah. So some of these beings, they will torment you on that journey. Yeah. So you have to be mentally resilient. So why is Partner Babianun here? He's not just teaching, oh, the Bible's this and the Bible's that, etc. His true reason for coming is to prepare you to make that journey.
What if you get like sidetracked in your journey? Do you still can you still continue your journey as a person?
Sorry, if you use the mic, sorry, sister. We were recording, so if you don't mind using the mic.
Yeah, basically, if you you get sidetracked along the way, can you still carry on your journey as a individual who's ascending?
That's the point we're making. There's a process. You see what I'm saying? And you can get caught in those realms. I don't know, when you left the room, I was reading about that there are beings that can trick you. You understand? So if you're not knowledgeable about who you are, if you're not knowledgeable about your ancestors or have a strong mental connection to them, yeah, you can get distracted. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so it'll take you a longer period of time or even possibly never to get out of that realm. Because what I was explaining is that there's different dimensions, and these gates shift. They show you movies. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they show you movies where they have to get through that one gate, and then when they get there, it's like that gate's no longer there. So they have to time it correctly in order to move through that gate. Yeah, so these are gates and they shift. All right. So if you don't know the time, the place, etc., you're not
But
gonna.
what if you do though? Because in some cases you do, because you are told, you are given.
This is what we're saying, that
Yeah.
if you have the guidance, that's
Yeah.
different. If you don't have the guidance, you're on a path of being tormented. You see what I'm saying? Because you can get trapped in one of those dimensions. Yeah. So as I was saying here, these beings, when they can, because they can trap you, what the master's explaining, you've got elemental beings. Elemental beings are ones that have become disembodied, okay, from many generations and centuries and are trapped in this realm. You'll also have extraterrestrials who are also trapped in this realm, and they're trying to get out of this realm, okay? And as time goes on, they become more wicked, they become more evil, yeah? And they have the ability to torment you, your spiritual essence, okay? They can torment that, and you can be in a state of purgatory, as they call it in religion, just what I'm saying, where you're constantly being tormented by these beings. What you have to also realize is you're connected to your ancestors who are connected to their ancestors. And as you're in that spiritual realm, the ones who are alive, i.e. relatives or children that may be alive in the physical realm, the tangible, physical, three-dimensional realm, they're also linked to you as well. Does that make sense? Yeah? So it's not an individual thing where I'm okay, I can make it, because as you're getting tormented, it's affecting other beings or other relatives on other dimensions. Exactly. You have to be in alignment. You have to be in alignment. This is referred to as the quantum entanglement. Yeah. Quantum entanglement is that you are constantly entangled or connected to those beings who are on in your blood lineage. And this is why the constant rituals and the constant chants that we do is because we're constantly keeping that telephone line open, the lines of communication open. Yeah. And if the moment that you stop doing that or continuously keep doing it, you're going to sever that line. Does that make sense? Okay. So continuing, not all are, as I said, some good, others are wicked, most trapped over time. Not all are hamanu, ka'ah, human spirits. Some are demons of other realms. And mushyad mutatalu, extraterrestrials who came in and could not get out. After a wicked person dies, the first 9 hours, they linger near their khatat body until all the life is out of the damag brain, and then you can separate. Yet for 60 to 90 days, you can visit using those close to you. Meanwhile, you'll be taken by munsabu relatives who pass before you to go to spirit orientation on the rules of the spirit world. Okay, so there's a lot of process involved, and this is what the master is revealing to us, you know. So that is preparing you. The mind is being prepared now, and as while you prepare the mind, you also prepare the body. You see what I'm saying? The body preparation, obviously, we know we chant. You know, those who do, we know that we fast. We know that we cut out certain things out of our diet. We know that we're turning ourselves inside out. Okay, that's one part of the process, and the other process is that, you know what I mean, as you're doing that and you're strengthening, as you do that, you're strengthening your spirit, and you're strengthening your spirit, which protects your soul, and the soul's linked to the. Thank you. Yeah, and the spirit is connected to the soul, and the soul is connected to the etheric being. You understand? So, and that is connected to the universe or the mind field where your ancestors reside. Yeah. So all of these things is what your mind and your being is being prepared for, so that when you are transitioning to the higher realms, you have that protection, you have that knowledge to traverse. Yeah. So they visit close. So yet for 60 to 90 days, you can visit using those close to you. Meanwhile, you'll be taken by munsabu relatives who passed before you to go to spirit orientation on the rules of the spirit world and to see if you will have to return to Taha Earth or be reborn. Okay, so that's part of that is Earth your destination, because as you think you're moving up, if you haven't done the necessary requirements, process, turn yourself inside out, etc., you come back again. You know, many of us feel it sometimes, like I feel like I've been here more than once. You know what I mean? I feel, sorry, what's that, Zamata? I thought you said, I thought somebody said something. Yeah, yeah, so it feels like, you know, this is just like, the more you develop in your spirituality, the more you realize, I'm not from here. Do you know what I mean? I feel like this, I've done this before. Certain things that you just know you're not interested in anymore. It's like that desire is burnt out. Do you know what I mean? And then there's those who just still want to do the same thing, party, do this, etc. And you can't judge them because you don't know how many times their cycles have been. And that's part of the beauty of Wu-Sabat, because now you're not in a judgmental role, because you now begin to understand that maybe that's why they, you know what I mean? They haven't reached that cycle that where you're at, because you may be an old soul. Do you know what I mean? And you're tired. You're tired of all of this. You're like, man, again, I'm not doing this again. Yeah. So there's that, and then there's those who are like, no, man, let's go have a party and still have fun, and you know what I mean? I still want to go places, and you're boring, man. You're like, you're dead. You know what I mean? You got no, where's your happiness? Where's your, you know what I mean? You know, they don't realize that you've burnt those desires out, or you're in the process of burning them out. Do you know what I mean? Because you no longer have that attachment to them. And that's the thing, you're letting go of attachments bit by bit as you go on this journey, you know? And from a soul perspective, you begin to really clearly see, oh yeah, that's why they're there. Oh yeah, that's why. Do you know what I mean? And you begin to appreciate and humble, more humility, and you're more humble to why they do what they do. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to, man, this is the self-righteous now. If you don't do it, you know, you're gonna go to hell, you know, and this, and then you start to preach to them. You get what I'm saying? They're gonna say, who do you think you are? You know, who do you think you're preaching to me about a thing? Before you used to do such and such and such. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you learn not to be judgmental. You know, you just start to recognize, okay, right, and then do your best to be the best example so that they can see the benefits. You see what I'm saying? So any questions so far before I continue? Any questions?
Yes,
Any at all?
yes,
I mean, we
yes,
can jump
I've
right
got
back
one.
into this. So
I've got a question. Could I
is
have
that
the name of?
Patricia?
Yes.
Rahubat
Yes.
Zamata, what's your question?
Rahubat. Could I have the name of the scroll you're reading from again, please?
Of course, 1 second. Let me just bump up the speakers. Right, could you speak again, please?
Yeah, I was asking for the name of the scroll you're reading from now.
Sure. It's called the Parbalag Ya Nanan, the message of Ya Nun. Okay, and it's on page 6 and 7. If you got your camera on, that is, if you can see that. I know it's probably back to front, isn't it, or reversed? But that's the scroll. Okay.
It's fine.
Oh, wait. Tell Tazama. Okay, so
What does Parnabab mean?
Parnabab, the master. Yeah, the master. So he, as he's taught us, you have 360 degrees, which you have to master of the physical. And then you have 360 degrees you master of the spiritual. And then between the two, when they marry, becomes 720. So he's a 720-degree being. Yeah. And he has mastered all those levels. Him as a being has an incarnation of a supreme being. You see what I'm saying? So he's been through that journey. He's gone through the rugged and the rough roads that have to be, through certain initiations, which if half of us was to do those initiations, we probably would run away. Do you get what I'm saying? But what happens is that the forces of nature always finds in its blood lineage a child that will be born. Do you see what I'm saying? It could have been you. It wasn't. This person had that right lineage and the right credentials. You know what I'm saying? To be born in this cycle, and that's how nature chooses. So when he was chosen, the incarnation of that being was Yanun, which is a being that doesn't have no mother, no father. He incarnates every 24,000 years, yeah, for the renewal of our way of life. And then he will teach and then go back, you see what I'm saying, as an etheric being. There's still that portion of yourself, i.e. Dr. Malachi said, there's still that portion there. But when Yanun is speaking through him, Malachi will step back, or Dr. Malachi will step back while Yanun speaks through him. So when we went through the schools of Islam and Judaism, etc., he was known under different titles. So he would have been known as Al-Khadir, Melchizedek. Yeah, these are just some of the titles of this being. Yeah, so you read, like it says, the Ancient of Days. Melchizedek meets Abraham. Melchizedek meets this person. He's Jesus after the order of Melchizedek. All of these is referring to the being Tahuti. Yeah, and then what he has Tahuti, he has Ningish Zida, and he has Yanun. Those are the three that operate through him. Yeah, to give us certain information. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, to see if, go to spirit orientation and rules of the spirit world and to see if you have to return to Taha Earth or be reborn. Some will return right away within 1.8 hours of their Mawat death. Others reincarnate into new bodies to live out what they did not complete in this higher life or suffer for what they did to others. If so, they go into limbo to await a return, while others pass on through the 9 gates. Remember, it seems long to you, yet, just like when you go to Nawum sleep, and hours pass fast in the sleep state, yet in the physical, it's still the same. This happens in death. Then at 3 a.m., you come to in one night, and after death, that same Zamut day is the same as when you sleep. How time seems so fast. Once Zahut morning comes, it is the same with death. So this is the 9 gates. Okay, if you can have a closer look after if you want. Okay, so these are the 9 gates, if that can be seen on the screen. Okay. So it's, as you can see, it's a cycle. Yeah, so it goes in a cycle, starting from Earth 1, then the next gate, and the next gate, and the next gate, etc., until you're actually able to leave this realm. You see what I'm saying? Or this dimension. Yeah, go ahead.
Gate to gate.
Yeah. So each gate you will have a test or orientation, you see what I'm saying, to pass through. Yeah. And if you don't qualify, you come right back to start again. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's it happens like that though. That's what I must explain. It can happen like a click of a finger or a split of seconds. So even though it may seem such a long time, it just happens almost literally immediately. Yeah. Your etheric parents can only descend to a certain level themselves. If you have not raised up enough spiritual or level of vibration, they cannot carry you. In ancient Mahmad Egypt, we were always doing rituals that constantly kept you properly aligned with the note of A, in tune with the Mikah planet, and Fatah nature on the note of F, and the heavenly bodies above, or the cosmos on the note of C. So these are what is weaved into when we say our patakyud. Do you see what I'm saying? So those tones, what's taking place is, as we teach, words are not just normal, just sounds. Do you know what I mean? It's like you playing a literal keyboard, because what is taking place is that is actually affecting the harmony or the harmonics of your DNA pattern. So as you're chanting this, you're activating certain dormant DNA that's inside you. And that's why he's so much stressed about the language, because the language is literally reconfiguring your genetic pattern. You see what I'm saying? And this is all part of the process. It's not just one thing, it's many different aspects that you have to package so that in order for you to make that easier transition. I mean, the other analogy I always like to give is, imagine a mother who's carrying a child. There's two options she has, isn't it? She wants a healthy child. Yeah, she can smoke, watch TV late at night, argue with her husband, partner, do you know what I mean, be irritated, etc. What's gonna most potentially happen to that child? Do you know what I mean? That child will be born, you know what I mean, with difficulties, yeah? Likewise, if you were to have a healthy mother, eating right, chanting, doing her spiritual prayers, etc., listen to wholesome music, chanting, you know what you're probably gonna get. You see what I'm saying? Because it's all being encoded in your genes, in the epigenetics. So the analogy is to you look at the same way you look at your body, is how you want to retune yourself, feed yourself the right foods. You mean watching certain things that it's not necessarily appealing anymore, etc. All of these things, avoiding them, distractions in life that we all get entracted into, do you know what I mean? Arguments, etc. Those things have to just be avoided, you know, or eventually eliminated, because you're perfecting your being, you know? So even when you're chanting and you're in an angry state, all of those energies translate into the higher realms because it's sound. You see, and as sound travels, it permeates into our higher realms. And what you have to realize is sound, frequency, tone has color, shape, size, etc., which then manifests in that realm as negative entities. Understand? Because it's all dealing with ether, gases, etc. This is what we need to start understanding. Do you know what I mean? Even in our own being.
So is it all sound negative then?
No, not all sound. That's why I gave you the FAC. Yeah, the FAC are the notes that we as Nagaru, Africans by natural nature, are attuned to. But that we've now been unattuned, do you mean, out of those tones. So it's about getting back to those tones again and you know, disciplining ourselves and fine-tuning. I always say this because there's always a caveat. You're always gonna have a bad time, you know, a bad day. You're always gonna not always be in your great mental state. You get what I'm saying? Whether you stayed late at night or somebody peed you off on, you know, you're on the road, whatever, it can happen. But what you have to always remember, you always have a way to retune yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Even if we were together here and we do our chants, etc., we have spiritual night on a Thursday. Those are days, the opportunities for you to reattune yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, when you get home, you know, put on that tone, light some candles, just bring your energies back down into the way you like it to be. You know what I'm saying? So these are some of the practices. So yeah, the FAC, after being assimilated into a foreign Sakar land, a foreign Milsan tongue, and Akar mind, what was natural for you has become foreign. So you da'ut called out and your call was answered. Yeah, and that call was answered when we have our ancestors now communicate and send a being, do you know what I mean, in order to guide us back. Yes. Yes, please.
So just listen to what you're saying. I'm just thinking, so sometimes when I'm having a bad day, for example, I feel like, how do I say it? I feel like something greater is dictating my day.
Okay.
Sometimes I
Okay.
feel like something great is like I could, no matter what I'm doing right, everything's going wrong
Okay.
on those. So is that actually a thing? Is that greater forces
I won't say greater
or
forces.
forces
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
kind of dictating my day and maybe testing me in that respect? Or like what is that? That's what I'm trying to understand because
Give an example. Give an example. It's just simple an example that you've may have had.
Okay. There may be a day where I know within myself I'm having a good day. My thoughts are very negative.
Okay.
I go quiet, I don't speak much.
Okay.
I just keep myself to myself.
Okay.
There might be different things triggering me throughout the day.
Okay.
And I'm avoiding it. But then, for example, one of the things that might trigger me is I'm on my bike on my way to work,
Okay.
for example,
Mm.
and the chain slips and
Right.
comes off in the middle of the road.
Right,
Like,
right,
on the
right.
road, riding as normal,
Mm-hmm.
and the chain slips and comes off. I've had to push the bike home. As I'm pushing the bike home, it's raining. You know, the sun was out, but now all of a sudden it's raining.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get home,
I see.
family might not be in the right mood as well.
Right.
There might be things going on at home.
Right.
You're trying to avoid any
Yeah.
sort of thing happening.
Any friction.
Any
Yeah.
friction,
Right.
and then all of a sudden
Mm.
you might be on your way to bed.
Mm.
There might be something might go off on your phone, or something might go off on your partner's phone. You see
Yeah.
something and
Yeah.
it just ticks you off.
Right. Right.
It's affecting one person.
Yeah.
Eventually, energy's in motion.
Yeah.
It's going to come into you,
Yeah.
and that's your point. Like,
Right.
you've ended up.
Right.
Now you've lost it.
Right,
You've had
right,
a bad day. It's been
Yeah. Yeah.
tough,
Yeah.
but then now it's just that moment. Bang! This is it. This is the thing that's kind of pulled the trigger,
Mm.
and now you
So,
crashed up.
so you feel like you're not in control at that point, or begin at that when you wake up in the morning.
Mm,
Yeah, during the day,
mm.
because it depends on what circadian rhythm you have, what time you have to go to work, etc.
Yeah.
What affirmation do you say to yourself?
And I think this is the tricky part, and I know this as well, because when I do part accurate,
Yeah.
I feel as if I'm being led in my day,
Okay.
and I'm being pushed to go in the directions that's going to lead me to have a good day. if that
Okay.
makes sense, right?
Okay. Mm.
But if I don't have time, because obviously I've got young kids,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so as soon as I wake up, I'm hearing crying,
Yeah.
milk,
And it gets
Just-
you all your central nervous system spikes.
yes. So straight away, it's
Yeah.
reactive.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
react to the day.
Yeah.
And if I've, there might be times I could say, oh, I'll try and get up earlier, but then
Mm.
I'll finish work at 10 p.m.
Mm.
I'll come home,
Mm.
I'm hungry, I want to eat something. So I don't end up going to bed around 12.
Right.
So it's hard for me to get out before that and then say, okay, I'm going to do my chanting and everything today before the kids get up and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, the day might start with my kids screaming. And
Right.
like you say, it's kind of spiked my nervous system and
Yeah.
started my day. So
Obviously, everyone has a personal way of doing it. So I can't give you, unless we have like a sit down and then we break down what's your pros and cons of life, etc. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, there's not a forum for it. But I have young children myself, so I can relate to some of the things you're saying. What I've decided to do, like I said, we're both different. Do you know what I mean? We have different lifestyles or family dynamics. One of the things I've found that works for me is I found that I couldn't always chant at 9 when I needed to. Do you get what I'm saying? Or 3 or whatever. I put it on when I'm doing whatever I'm doing.
okay.
I will play the chant while the children are around me.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And I'll be chanting. Well, because I know I don't have that luxury. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to sit down and say, yep, this is me. So I'll just like put on the chant. And sometimes they'll come and sit next to me and start chanting with me. Do you get what I'm saying? They start doing it with me. And then they'll just get up and go about their business. You have children now, they get bored after like 2 or 3 words. You know what I mean? But then they'll go off. But the mere fact that you're incorporating it into your daily life and not just a specific set time, which you can do, you see what I'm saying? When you have that luxury. But I will get up in the morning and I'll play it if I remember. 'Cause I'm going to be very, transparent. If I remember, I'll put it on and I'll be doing it while I'm either going up the stairs in my pocket. So it's constantly playing, and it's keeping me in that tone. Just something keeping me in that tone. So it is just something that you may want to give it a go and try. Do you get what I'm saying? But have it on. And obviously, when they go to sleep, I put it on. It's in their room. And I think I've said this before in other classes. They wake up and say, "It stopped. Can you play it, please?" I'm like, oh, it's like getting into my nice warm dribbling in the mouth, sleeping. And they're like, "Daddy, can you play the thing again, the tone again, please?" And then I gotta get up. But the fact that they're now used to that tone, just what I'm saying, so it's all about the way you can corral, you incorporate into your life. Wu-Sabat will work for you once you allow it to work. Just what I'm saying, not as a secondary thing. Not saying that you are, but people part Wu-Sabat here and then they need it. They go to it when they need it. You see what I'm saying? Incorporate into your life. You with me? Let everything be Wu-Sabat with your children, etc. It doesn't have to be overly excessive, to the point where it's do you know what I mean? But the subtle things that you can do, that in itself is training. Obviously, we've been at different stages because I've been doing this for years. But the fact is, there's a principle. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you just apply those principles. So that's what I would give as a form of advice. Do you know what I mean? Don't come and say to me, "You told me."
Nah. I find myself doing a lot of the stuff on OSM, for example, I play in the background.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm listening to no one else in the house.
Maybe
no one else in the house, but I know I'm tuning into that whilst I'm doing it. But you're right.
Incorporate into your daily life. And the thing is, listen, you might even feel away because sometimes I've done this when I was coming slowly into Wu-Sabat right knowledge. You just play the chant in your room by yourself, so that you don't want to be disturbing anybody, or maybe family members might think it's your home. You incorporate what's in your environment into your home. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not no side thing where you be the embodiment of your etheric being, your soul. Let people know this is you. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, remember the 19 things of being a divine being or being a god. I don't know if you've got that. I can post it up. But I think there's 19, where it says have no fear, be fearless. Do you get what I'm saying? And that includes what you do as your culture. Yeah, it's your culture, and as time goes on, either they embrace it or they reject it. Yeah, but that's the kind of advice I got. I'm just gonna go to a couple if there's any questions in the chat. Right, please clarify, do you have a question on the cycles? Do these repeat regardless of circumstances? Right, so there's a question on the cycles. Do these repeat regardless of circumstance? So the desires all appear the same after some while, regardless of my circumstantial change. Does breaking free from the cycle depend in any way on the good or bad that we have done? It's that's from, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Emil Jan Mirizaj. It's the circumstances can vary, it can change. Yeah, so it does have to do with depending on whether you come here before and you're in a different situation. So the circumstances can change. You know what I mean? It's not always going to be the same repetitive, because then that doesn't test your resolve. That doesn't test who you are as a being. It's like going into class, into a test, and you see the same questions over and over and over. You're not really learning, you're not really progressing. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's certain things that you're going to have as tests, etc., which are not always going to be the same, but it's going to see what's your outcome, what's the end result, what's your end goal. So that's what I would say to that. So does breaking free from the cycle depend in any way on the good or bad that we have done? Yeah, most definitely. But it's also it's not just the good and the bad. It's because that's just you know, what's good for one person, maybe not good for another person. So it's more about the positives and negatives. What's the result? What's the outcome of that result? Do you see what I'm saying? And you have to be honest with yourself. What do you want to gain in order to breaking those cycles? Because there's cycles within cycles. And the other aspect of that is that you also are responsible for your ancestors. You're like the culmination of all the things that they've done, do you get what I'm saying, in you. So it's like you're breaking many cycles within cycles, including your own. Yeah, so there's a lot involved in becoming who you are and breaking out of this realm, do you see what I'm saying, and moving to higher planes. You know, so that's what I can say on that. I hope that answers your question. Can you do it, Jose? Positive. Rahubat, can someone put up the names of the scrolls that, okay. Right, so let me just type in that one was called the Message of Yanun, okay? Okay, that's called the Message of Yanun, the one I'm reading from currently. Did we finish that? Yeah. Okay, so any questions before I go to the next?
Yeah. When you were saying about chanting and it affecting the etheric realm, say like if you're doing it when you're angry. So in those circumstances, should you meditate instead of chanting?
Concentration leads and focusing leads to meditation. So chanting just one aspect of it, but what the masters explain is that when you focus and you focus on one particular thing at one time, that you're bringing your whole attention into that one field. And that leads into meditation. Does that make sense? Yeah. So chanting is a part of that. Chanting is a part of that. Yeah. It's from, let me see if I've got the book. I think it's Mind Linked is in. Right, so the Mirage Ancient Four-Dimensional Classes. Yeah. Okay, so this is from Dimensional Shift. It's called Dimensional Shift. If someone could put in the chat, it'd be appreciated. This is the Master Secret, Dimensional Links, and Nabat, the Sacred Ash, series number 3. Okay, so this is from verse 57. And it reads like this. Now, all you'd have to be given is tabraz, projection outward from your cell phone, and the image could be projected out in space. Sorry, I'll read from 58. All this is the brain tissue at work, reasoning out things, putting together wasaf formulas that yields results. Okay, so when we're chanting, these are formulas. Yeah, so Nataru, Sabat, these are formulas. And those formulas, okay, it brings about results. So the mental concentration of the ancestors and the determination in your voice, the sincerity in your voice, all of these adds and applies to that manifestation. Do you see what I'm saying? And that what is referred to as that the yielding of results. So our ancestors work obviously as unity. They work not just for individuals, they work for the whole tribe or the whole nation. You see what I'm saying? So when we're doing these chants and we're pulling, these are formulas, you know, from all the way from Anuki Bipa, Ashok Empire, all the way to the 99, you see what I'm saying? And all of that, these are all formulas. So they are being invoked, and those formulas, there's something I want to read. That's why I'm saying it like that, because there's a particular book. It's not one of our books, but it supports what we're teaching, what the master's been teaching. I'll read in a second, but let me just continue. Yeah. So these formulas that yields results, all by way of heavy or deep tashad concentration. See, so before you go into the chanting, the concentration is a part of that. So focus, be sincere, and then go into your chant. You understand? And on your Salafu ancestors, the genetic link, spiritual to spirits, the inner Sacham powers exist as the TV exists. All man needed was the formula to make it work for them the way they wish. The power of concentrated energy is enough to be or become the link because of the energy and Khamim black magas magic, dark matter and dark nashat energy that still exist in your khatat body as the first world race pataites. The black magic particles of mind have to become blended and yachada united mentally and physically with vocal magnetic pressure, and black magic linked by sawat, voice, is this. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that sincerity, that energy that's being projected with your voice is getting these etheric particles to get activated in your mind, which is then sending waves out into the universe and connecting with your ancestors. Yeah. So these are all sciences that have to be put into practice, you know, on a sincere level and with determination. Do you know what I mean? Do it with purpose. When you start doing things with purpose, you start feeling the effects more, you know. And as I will say again, sometimes when, you know, we might feel tired, etc. Don't do it when you're tired. Just be honest with yourself. I'm tired, you know. Do it when you're feeling much more vibrating and you want to do it. But so, you know, so it's those kind of things. And then eventually, as you build up a habit, it becomes habitual. And then you do it on constantly. It becomes, you're resonating on that tone a lot more than you would. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Just trying to find another book that goes into, I think it's this one as well. The Black Dot Helix. So in the Black Dot Helix, just this book here, The Master's Secret, the Black Dot Helix, Mind Link. Sorry, just showing up family on the screen. Yeah, mind linked. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, that. It explains about, well, I read it. Verse 1. Lahe amtkum aye mumra kharadu shalel wu-nuwaup. For all you, my beloved children of wu-nuwaup. Einstein revealed to the world this subject that he calls spooky action at a distance. It was the fact that how two forms of material matter, two particles of the same ta-wulat frequencies vibrate as all matter does, no matter how far separated, even by extreme distance, and with no physical connection between them of any physical nature, they still remain connected by an invisible link or kawat, force, that we wu-nuwaupians call sarat, ether cord. When one of the mukwanu beings or particles is stimulated, read it again, when one of the mukwanu beings or particles, so these beings are are nanoparticles. They're quantum particles that reside within you. You see what I'm saying? So all the ancestors are in you. You just have to activate them. And the way to do that is by way of these chants. You see what I'm saying? So you stimulate them each time you're doing the chant. And they come alive. Does that make sense? So, and this is stimulated and responds in a specific way, such as in Masak music notes, when you struck. So when two music notes are struck, two or more of the exact same note will respond to the same, A major to A major. So the particles react to each other of the same key. The mind waves, sound, life, energy, all at the exact same with an immediate response across time and space of vast distance can be faster than the speed of light, 186,272 miles per second. Okay. It's all in the Mamtax matrix. That is to say that Kala Mahwan omniverse is connected, or all is connected to Pa'ut, all expanding, by an invisible matrix, a grid of natural energy of nature in which all matter is connected through an invisible lattice of consciousness. Therefore, we all share a collective memory, mental, mind, and all knowledge, all wisdom that exists is held in the matrix. Yeah? So when you start to realize that you have access to all of that, you see what I'm saying? And the etheric part of you can open those doorways and access to them. You begin to realize why it's important to chant. You begin to realize why it's important to speak your own language. You begin to realize the importance of being together as one, just working in unity, because this is what it's alluding to. It's taking you to that journey where you can access the mind at just a drop of a hat. Do you know what I mean? And you can communicate to your ancestors at just the speed of thought, and they come to your aid, because now you when you're saying the correct tone, it's like they don't say, oh, such and such is calling me, I'm gonna come at 5 and I come and help them. It's an immediate. And this is one of the things that the Europeans were afraid of, because they knew that we could access our ancestors. And in being able to do that, they would fear us, because there was nothing that could stop us from doing what we want to do. This is where your God Bible story comes in, and God came down to heaven, from heaven, and he confounded the language, etc., because he knew the power of tone, the power of unity. That's what the God of Bible didn't want. You see what I'm saying? And the ones that are pretending and playing and acting like God is who we are fearing. When they know who we are. Do you understand? And we need to come to the realization of who we are. Okay? Yeah, I think I'll end it there on that. Any questions so far? Oh, hold on. There's a question in the chat. Okay. Right. Someone says, it feels like they're inside my head and show me thoughts I have towards my physical decisions. Then at times I recognize thoughts that I have never believed or accepted or invoked are appearing to my mind. And the disagreeable use signs to let me know, as if they've put them inside my head. How can I protect myself from thoughts not of my own and deception from mockery? That can be found in what I was reading. It's The Mind's Eye is a book that you can get. Okay, it's called The Mind's Eye. And in there, it explains to you also how to protect your thoughts. Also, there's a book called called Concentration, where the master explained that there's the 29 others, and you're the you're the 30th being. So there's 29 others, both from both relative sides, and they can influence. This goes back to you, the way, sometimes you may wake up and you have this, sometimes it's just those others that may be influencing your line, you know, and then you may wake up agitated, etc., you know, for whatever reason. Yeah, because you have to now still them and keep them subdued, you know. Yeah. So yeah, it's to do with those. You have what we teach. Partner Baba Yanun has spoken and explained about your 30 spirits or 30 ancestors. Obviously, depending on whether both of your family relatives, if they're alive, then there'll be the 27, and then you'll be the 28, the 29, 30. So you have 27 mother, 27, 28 father, etc., going up to the 29th, and then the 30th, which will be you. Okay? So that 30 of you, you have to literally bind them and control them and listen to that one voice. And that one voice is the one that you'll be able to discern that one voice because it guides you. It guides you to what you can recognize as something, a positive outcome. When you receive that guidance, look to see whether is there going to be a positive outcome to the actions that you take, or is it going to be a negative outcome? What are the consequences of that outcome? You know, and this is how you know, by being able to still those ones that are trying to get you to do disagreeable things or argue with your partner or your relatives, etc., or make you go out and party to the end. You know, you have to listen to those voices. You know, is one giving you a positive? What's the result? What's the outcome if I take this action? Do you know what I mean? Is it gonna make you get up in the morning with a groggy head? You know what I mean, and or stupid, or is it gonna be more geared towards me being refreshed? I wake up and I do a little bit of exercise and I feel geared up to face the day. Which one is it? So this is how you be able to start discerning who's in control. Do you know what I mean? And you tell those ancestors. I know it sounds, this is where you know that it's not just you speaking, because you know when there's a thought comes that is not yours, not normally yours. You're like, that's not me. I don't think like that. Do you understand? So you have to start learning to discern them, you know, and that's how you learn to start protecting yourself. One of the main protection is the chanting. The other protection is the language. Try, I don't know how new you are, but start learning the language as soon as you can. Parlahag, Ms. Batia, is very, very important. It's a protection mechanism. You know,
what's the name of the language?
Parlahag. I'll read it to you from, I think it's in Conscious Being. Sorry, Conscious Being. It's not conscious being, let's try mind's eye. Mind's eye. Oh, where is it? You know what it says about the vocal manifestation? Yeah. Pause in the mind's eye. Could be. Yeah. Yeah. I've been looking this one and conscious being. Yeah. Always get those two mixed up. So yeah, what it is the language. Okay, this is what I wanted to find about no, I'm not gonna use that. Let's see if there's something here. Right, here you go. Right, there's a some information I picked up on the internet. It's called Scalar Frequency, the Language of Our DNA. Okay, this is written by a scientist called Jere Riviera Duguino. So he goes on to explain, I mean, it's quite a long, how many pages? 13 pages. But I read the first part. He explains here, according to researchers, Graznia Possar and Franz Bludorf, DNA is influenced by words and frequencies. According to their research, the key lies with the other 90% of the non-coding for protein, DNA, because what the scientists used to teach is that there's 100% DNA and it's all responsible for protein, etc., you know, making your proteins and health, etc. But then they realized that actually not a lot of your DNA actually is responsible for protein and coding. It's actually, you got non-coding DNA, and that's actually 90% of that is non-coding. 10% is all you actually use to make up your body and to keep you alive. So those 90% is called non-coding DNA. Yeah. So often misrepresented as junk DNA. Yeah. So if you heard of that term before, junk DNA, this is what it's referring to. And that serves as data storage and communication. The research of Russian biophysicist and molecular biologist, Dr. Petro Garajaev, suggests that living chromosomes function just like solitonic or holographic computers using endogenous DNA laser radiation. Basically, what he's saying is that if you're using sound and light, etc., you can activate the lower levels of your DNA. Yeah, that's the genes that's inside you by just sound and light, etc., photons. So in simpler terms, words and sentences of our human language can recode our DNA. Yeah. So when I came across this, and obviously reading what Partner Babianun put through all these books, it made a lot of sense. It married up. And scientists have now begun to prove and expand or experiment into this field because they start to realize. So this particular, what do you call it? Words and sentences of our human language can code our DNA. Parla Hag, the language Misbatia that we speak, that's what is designed by our ancestors to do. Yeah, is to recode us. However, here are vital questions that are not addressed in all of the Russian research. So what is the actual language of the introns or potential DNA? So DNA is not just on one level. There's lower levels, and there's also genes that sit on top of your DNA. Yeah, they refer to them as epigenetics. Okay. And it says, how does language turn on or off the DNA? So again, back to the language and why we're speaking it, because you have these molecules that sit on top of your DNA, these epigenetics, and there's something called methylation. So this methylation is your off and on switch, and they literally switch on or off depending on what you're being exposed to. So if we're speaking a language that is foreign and strange to us, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to switch off certain genes that are keeping them dormant. So the English language is not just a language, again, of beauty or niceness or just to communicate. It's a language designed to keep you dumbed down. You understand? Yeah? Just jump into a portion of so what they got, the person explains in here. It explains that in the presence of something called scalar waves, you can research all of this, you know, if you write it down, scalar waves, S-C-A-L-A-R, scalar waves. DNA cells tend to resonate with each other as they attract information and energy from other cells in their environment. This model explains how epigenetics occurs. If both transmitter and receiver cell are in resonance, then both information and energy are in homeostasis, which means they're balanced, okay? However, if the transmitter cell does not find a receiver cell to resonate with, DNA code encryption would not be possible. So it's all to do with the language and the code and the tones, etc. Because what's happening is that you're being activated on a microscopic cellular level and on a quantum level. This is what's taking place. As you're learning on the physical, it's also affecting you on the spiritual energy side. You see, it's actually transforming you. So all of this is a part of the transformation. Just what I'm saying, that you're not stuck on this realm, just what I'm saying, and it being your final destination. Yeah, you can transcend the other realms and move on to higher worlds. So just read a little bit more. It goes and explains about scalar frequency and what the brain mentions Nikola Tesla. I'm just giving you some portion, but I'm trying to find the part. Right, here you go. Our thoughts co-create our own personal reality hologram due to the fact that thoughts are scalar wave configurations of harmonic patterns of bipolar electromagnetic energy. This is going into a lot of quantum physics stuff. So please stop me if you don't understand what I'm reading, okay? Electromagnetic energy radiation, which creates specific patterns of scalar frequency within the personal morphogenetic field, okay? That's the morphogenetic field manifestation blueprint. So everyone's got a morphogenetic field. We've said this before in other classes. Yeah, so you have if you're not sure, I'll just explain a bit, yeah? So you have what scientists now have also found out, that you have a field of energy that's around you, but there's also in the cells of your body, and you have your own personal field. And that personal field is linked into the mental realm, the mental reservoir. So that's called a morphogenetic field, because it literally morphs, it changes in accordance with your thoughts. So that morphogenetic field, it's a blueprint, or what we'll call a black print, just what I'm saying. And that blueprint or black print is linked into your relatives. And your relatives is also linked into your ancestors. And your ancestors are all linked. It goes back, it just all has a link in a circular field of energy. Yeah. So what you do here affects them, essentially. Okay. Human beings that can combine experience, knowledge of the cosmic anatomy structure with thought guided by clear intention. That's the word I'm looking for. When you're chanting, if you have a clear intention of what you're chanting and what you want to make manifest or happen, your reality is based on you having a clear mind, okay, and thoughts. Do you see what I'm saying? So your thoughts will eventually materialize into reality. And the formulas for doing that are by way of these chants, by way of these ancestors. When you're calling on them, they are formulas in the actual chants and the language, which is then transforming your reality and making your reality materialize in front of you. Just like how they've done with the language of English. See, every time we're speaking the English language, we're creating a scalar or energy field. Each time we say something, we're creating a field. And that field is manifested into our reality. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's how they managed to catch us. And obviously, everybody's talking the English language. So it's all becoming one reality for all of us. And we're moving in their mind state. and not our own. So we have to create our own reality. And the way to do that is through language. Does that make sense? Okay. Just quickly. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. But it's if you want to get this information, it's called Scalar Frequency, the Language of Our DNA. Yeah, that's what it's called. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Robert.
Could you just go, you was reading out of the message from QnA.
Yeah.
And what happened after like the two beings is coming.
Okay, yeah.
Go and
reread that for you, yeah? Sure. Okay, so from Pabalag M. Yananan on page 7, you have, I read from the paragraph, you must tune in to realign, to raise your vibration to a certain level. Your Muslafu ancestors, your etheric parents, your Sa-Kum, your family will be there to guide you through the gates. When that time comes, you must be ready. You must not let the disagreeable Salafu ancestors or outside influences deter you and cause you to descend lower than you are. Two beings will come, Munkar and Nakar, demon beings with black skin and blue eyes who will try to trick you with religious questions. Ignore them and think on my own relatives, my own ancestors, and they will fade from sight. You must pass through the 9 gates of Mawat death to leave this realm. Does that make sense? You have a question on that?
yes, no,
Yeah.
to get the archer.
Okay, you need to get that. Yeah, I don't know whether it's still in publication, but there's some books have been ordered. We've ordered books. They're due to arrive, and then hopefully this will be part of that pack. Yeah.
What were the names? 2 names?
Munkar and Nakar. Yeah. So it's Earth is a test. Earth is a school. Do you know what I mean? So yes, you have been born into this cycle, and the destination was for you to come here, but it was for you to learn. Do you see what I'm saying? In order to then pass through the schools and then transition and make your way back to Orion and Sirius. But you have to be worthy. Yeah. So if you look at anything, even in society, for you to get into a particular order, a school, a job, etc., you can't just walk in and say, yeah, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? Give me my job. Yeah. You have to be shown that you're proficient. You're worthy to take, what you're going to do. Are you serious about it? Or you're just going to just be kidding about and just think it's just a joke? You with me? So even if you just look at just the society that we live in, you have to be qualified. You have to do your CV. You go then you go through a test or a job or an interview. And that interview, you go come up polished. If you came in your scraggly clothes, etc., they're gonna look at that person, look at you. Do you know what I mean? The one who's more presentable, even if they're just clean and they don't got no credentials. Do you know, you may have all the credentials, but most of the time your outer skin suit, do you know what I mean? Your outer appearance says a lot about you, doesn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? So that uniform is a mental uniform as well as a physical uniform. So how you dress, how you appear to yourself, and like us, we've always said, through what the master teacher's given us with the black and gold, when you go and study what black and gold represents as an attire, you'll understand why. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a mark of power. That's what black and gold represents. Just go and do a research on it. So that representation of nobility and power is what you're embodying when you go out there or when you're teaching. And we always say this, seriously, we kid you not, people just stop. People just, will just like, they give you that, there's just that respect that is given just because you're wearing a particular cultural attire, as opposed to somebody who's just dressed a certain way. Not saying that you won't be given that respect, but you just naturally get it. It's like being a doctor and having a white, thing on. If somebody walked in and somebody had tattoos and fang teeth and I'm gonna give you mouth to mouth, and somebody came in and wearing a white coat, etc., who are you gonna pick? You know what I mean? And as the master said, I believe in Satan. Do you know what I mean? Or you think, well, I don't really want you to give me master. I want the doctor, because it's all about how they look. It's a mental uniform. You see what I'm saying? And people wear this mental uniform to work, etc., without realizing that they succumbed into somebody else's mentality. So we have to come out that mentality and start wearing our own mental uniforms, because in doing that, we give self-pride to ourselves. You with me? And it's all about that self-pride, that nobility. You come from a noble lineage. From the stars to here, it was a noble lineage. Your ancestors built pyramids. Do you know what I mean? They had schools of thought, knowledge of medicine and physiology and biology and all of these different stuff that Europeans, the Western world, marvel at. And now we're being made to remember that's who you are. So embrace it. Be proud of it. Let your culture flourish, just like every other person's culture has flourished. Do you know what I mean? This is what it's about. So, our destination is the stars. It's not here, but you have to learn. You have to learn. Do you know what I mean? It's not just a matter of I've learned my ABCs, because then there's also, if you go to school and you go to university, there's algebra, trigonometry, and calculus. There's many other sciences. Do you know what I mean? That you have to either master. That's what they call it, a master's. You know what I mean? You do your PhD or whatever the case, and then you do your master's. Because you become a master teacher. Do you get what I'm saying? He's gone through the schools. You have to go through the schools. Yeah? Does that make sense? Okay. And there's a question online. How do we learn the chants that you're speaking on, and can they be done without experience? Tua, the chants can be learned on our platform. We have a platform for it. It's called... Let me just post this something. I think if it can be posted online for me. I don't have, hang on a second. I do have Telegram on here. Just bear with me. So if you go to, have you subscribed? Actually, the person asking, have they subscribed to our Sabian Kayat? Because if you subscribe to that, or you're on that platform, it can be posted in there. Or if you're on OSM platform, you can also subscribe there.
I haven't subscribed to all of that. This is only my second class that I've joined.
Oh, okay.
Something from Amanda Bailey.
Okay. Thank you for speaking up, Zama. I appreciate that. So at least I know. So if you go to yeah. Are you on OSM Vision on the platform on Telegram? Have you been invited there?
No, I was invited on WhatsApp.
Okay. Do you have Telegram?
I do, yeah.
Okay. If you have your phone to hand now or tablet,
yeah.
and type in OSM Vision.
OSM Vision.
Yep. Or OSM Wu-Sabat, sorry. Ask us anything, beg your pardon.
It's called OSM Vision _bot.
No, it's sorry, it's OSM and then it's Wu-Sabat, W-U hyphen S-A-B-A-T, Sabat. You should see it with a symbol of the master teacher in OSM.
No, it's not.
Okay, not to worry.
OSM.
Yeah.
W-U.
Yep, that's it.
Hyphen Sabat.
Yep, that's the one. Yep.
Yeah, it's not coming up for some reason.
Oh, okay. That's strange.
But
yeah,
I'll speak to this on WhatsApp if you like. Okay.
If you feel on WhatsApp, we'll post it in there. We'll post it in there.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Right. Are there any other questions? Go ahead.
Yes, I got a question.
Ramesses, Rahubat to you.
Yeah, Rahul.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on. Just like to know more.
Oh no, hold on. Let Ramesses and then you. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Ramesses.
Yeah, Rahubat.
Rahubat, Jamal.
What does Wu-Sabat say about people that are considered to be dead and boring?
So I can just about hear you. Could you just come closer to the mic?
What does Wu-Sabat say about people that are considered to be dead and boring?
What does Wu-Sabat say about people who are considered to be dead and boring?
Yes.
Dead as in like they have no emotional energy?
Or like, they're not interesting.
They're not interesting.
Yeah, they don't have an interest in nature.
We don't really say anything. I mean, it's just the person's personality and depending on their the environment that they were raised in, it made them a particular way. You see what I'm saying? It depends on what experiences you've had that can make and define your character, just and your spirit. Because that's what I said. We were teaching earlier. I don't know if when you joined the class, but we were teaching that we don't judge. You see what I'm saying? If anything, we acknowledge and recognize where people are at in their growth. And then what we do is we can help assist that growth should they want to be helped. But we don't judge anybody because, you know what I mean, they lack certain things or have flaws in their character, etc. Because we're all a building block. We're all what we refer to as a rough piece of work. Do you see what I'm saying? And that rough piece of work needs to be polished if that's the journey that you want to go on. But we'll never say to someone, oh, because of such and such, you're a boring person or whatever the case may be, or judge them. You know what I mean? Because when you start living by soul, you don't judge anybody according to what they have or what they don't have, because it's all to do with them and the journey that they're on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
Have people ever, no offense, have people ever called you boring?
Oh, there's no offense to me at all. I've been called boring all my life. I've been called boring all my life because I've been, on a personal level, I've been a person who's very studious from a very young age. I've been very inquisitive. I've always wanted to know things. I've always wanted to read. But that aspect of who I am deals with the fact that the frequency and energy that incarnated into me, of my spirit, is what that made me who I was. And then also by way of my parents, the environment that I was exposed to, both of my parents were quite avid readers. Do you know what I mean? They love to read. Do you get what I'm saying? So my mom loved reading, whether it's, Mills and Boone or one of them kind of things, but she loved factual information. So that has become part of my nature. So as I grew up, I was given a lot of factual information from a young age, how things work, what is this, what's the origin of that. At that time, obviously, that was the truth at that time because, encyclopedias, they develop, don't they? They get better and better as you find, like as they find out more information about the earth and the sciences of the earth. But the time that when I was reading, that was a fact then. So yes, I've always been like that, and I've never really wanted to go out and do the partying and things like that. So as I journeyed in Wu-Sabat, I started to realize I'm an old soul. Do you know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of things that makes me want to desire. I don't desire certain things. I'm very easy, but that's my nature. But it's very easy for me to detach. Do you get what I'm saying? If the master teacher said we need to stop eating meat, yeah, or stop eating red meat or whatever, it's not very hard for me to say, oh, that makes sense. Read a couple of knowledge, information about it and how meat affects me. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. I'm going to detach. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's very easy for me to make transition. For others, they might have a battle because remember, it's all dealing with those spirit forces. You see, so the spirit forces that are within you, some of them are very strong depending on who's in the driver's seat. You could be in the driver's seat, but your spiritual strength is not very strong. So you can be easily influenced or led. While for me, it wasn't. So it's very hard to marry or keep everybody on the same even keel and say, what works for me is also going to work for you. That's why we always stress, find out your body, understand how your body works. Do you see what I'm saying? And find the medicines and the natural foods that work synergistically with you. Within incorporating Wu-Sabat still into that lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. But I've been called a boring old fart. Yeah. What about yourself?
If people call me boring, I don't give a damn because
exactly.
I know I'm not put on this earth to be an entertainer.
Exactly.
Not everyone's an entertainer.
Yeah. But you know what? It took me a while. Some people even want to be validated. Yeah, they seek validation, so they try to make friends, and they constantly try to make friends to be validated as how they are, what they're doing. But you grow in it. You grow emotionally, you grow mentally, you grow, and you start to realize, like you said, it's not about them; it's about you. It's about how you're developing yourself and how you're able to connect with others and to help them grow. So yeah, that's the journey some of us are on, and some of us have embraced that journey and want the unity, want the togetherness, want the spirituality. Do you know what I mean? Want all of these positives, because it's not really about us at the end of the day. It's really about our children. At the end of the day, we're gonna transition, but what about our children? What are they gonna actually live in? What do we see for them? What's their prosperity going to look like? Is it going to be a thing where they're going to go back into the system? We know where the system is leading. We know what is being planned. Do you see what I'm saying? We know what's about to take place on this planet. So is that what we want for them? Me personally, no. So I'll fight my hardest until I make that change. And I hope others can be on that same frequency. This is why he's always taught, the master teacher, Dr. Malachi, he's always said, unity is our strength. Do you know what I mean? And not just your unity, the love. Learn to start caring for one another. Do you know what I mean? Care for your brothers, care for your sisters, care for your mothers, and the caring aspect leads into the love aspect. And then the love aspect leads to unconditional love, you see, for others and humanity. So it's that journey that I've chosen to be on, and many others as well have chosen to be on that journey. And that's the Sabian nation. So if you come, and be part of that, and you make that conscious decision to become part of that, then your journey is to change this world, as the Michael Jackson say, quote unquote, into a better place. You know what I mean? Make this world a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. I don't listen to Michael Jackson, but he made a very valid point in his music. Make this world change, but you can only do it start with yourself, and then branch with others who are on that same journey as you. And Wu-Sabat is, it's beautiful, especially when you're out there and you're propagating, and the people we meet and the people we speak to. It's an eye opener. It's a school of hard knocks, but it's an eye opener as well. Yeah. Yes, my brother. Yeah, it's yeah, Heinrich had a question and then.
Thank you for that. I would like to find out maybe do the chants in the beginning. You say no save it and no coin.
That's right, yeah.
Could you just summarize in a short and small abbreviation of Pata and its importance as well? Or
The importance of Pata?
Pata.
Okay, Pata, as you know, is the opener. Yeah, that's what the word means, Pata. Pata means the opener, or to open the way. Yeah, and the open the way because he is the opener to the other galaxies. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, there's certain, you remember talking about gates? There's also higher gates that Ptah has the ability to open. Like for instance, Ptah is the deity over this realm. So he closed the gate. He quarantined this planet. This planet was quarantined under Ptah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So he is the being that was able to, let's just say, be the main focus and deity for us, because he was the one who was responsible for putting his DNA into the dolphin to come to this planet. So that's why he's our deity, because he used his own genes. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. So when we say there's no deity but Ptah, it's because the being is the opener to the gateways to the higher realms. And he also placed his DNA into the chromosomes, and those chromosomes was placed into the dolphin and then brought here to this planet from Sirius C. Yeah, that's Ptah. And Yanun as the savior, because every 24,000 years, a being is sent to become our savior. So we should not be afraid to say that's our savior. Do you know what I mean? That's our Messiah. That's our this, that's that, because every other culture and other race says it as well. Yeah, they acknowledge that. You with me? Yeah, it's not on a religious kind of thing. You get what I'm saying? Because in ancient times or in our culture, we always recognized one of us as being the most of something, the most high of something. That's where the pharaohs come in. And if when you do look into the history of this United Sabian nation or United Nuwaupian nation, you know that we did ceremonies. So one of the ceremonies that was reenacted for the very first time after 10,000 years. It was called the Osiris ceremony. Yeah, and you can see the master teachers holding there. Yeah, actually it's there, exactly. Yeah. Now it's an Osiris ceremony. That means the being was our ancestors recognized when he done that ceremony that we are their children. You see what I'm saying? So there's certain rituals and ceremonies that we do in order for our ancestors to recognize who we are. So we built a labyrinth, yeah, where this labyrinth was a journey into yourself. And every corner of the labyrinth, we will say a prayer to the ancestors. This is one of the sites that was gearing us and preparing us for when we were about to leave this realm. In a sense, but obviously disagreeable forces stepped in and destroyed it, but it's going to be rebuilt again. Yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah. Sorry, before you ask your question, I got Omar. Omar, you have a question online?
Yeah, Rahubat, brother. Rahubat,
Omar. Ashok to you.
I had a question, brother. So I was doing candle meditation to help, my focus and whatnot. And like for about a week and a half. And is it normal to start seeing like black and white patterns in the middle of your focus point, like after a while, and it seems like you're kind of slipping into it? Is that normal?
I honestly can't give you the answer because of personal experience, Omar.
Okay.
Yeah. But continue doing it as much as you can. But that's a personal experience, and the masters always taught us not to explain other people's experiences. So just be patient and keep working through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I had another question. It kind of correlates to it.
Go
It
ahead.
may be personal again too, but you know, just in case you had an answer to it.
Okay.
So you know, after a week or whatnot, I did it. Sometimes that focus point would just pop up. You know, I'll just be working or moving around and living my life, but that focus point in the middle will just pop up out of nowhere, and sometimes I just got to figure out how to get rid of it.
Right.
Because I'll be talking to somebody and it'll just pop up right in their face. And yeah, so
and this is why we have to focus on Panabab Yudianum being amongst us, because to see some questions like that. In fact, have you ever been to our website, United Sabian Worldwide?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you see where there's a question part where it says ask Yanun any question?
No, but I will look again.
Yeah. If you navigate it, there's an actual page where you can ask Yanun a question. And what is done is those questions are collated, and when our sisters travel and they meet with him, whether in with his wives, etc., there's certain things that they'll speak to him about, and he will be able to. So sometimes in our national call, if you're part of the Sabian tribe, you can actually join our national call. And then you can actually hear updates, etc., from the master teacher. But obviously, you have to be sincere in knowing, being honest with yourself. Are you a Sabian, or are you just trying to just get some quick information? So
I'm a Sabian for real. I'm in the working. If I'm not, I read Patriarchs, I read scrolls. I've been following up about a year. And I just haven't been in the Saturday classes, but I've been getting time to get into it because I kind of changed my work schedule. So now I could, apply and come to the classes and whatnot. So
that's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get my name changed sometime soon too. So yes, sir.
All right, you sound serious.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
That's good. That's a blessing. I mean, it's not a blessing like we're not saying. The other thing is, Wu-Sabat is not out there trying to accumulate numbers and numbers of people so that we can boast that we've got 200,000 Sabians and stuff like that, because we know the impact of this doctrine, and the masters always explain that it's a DNA doctrine, it's a genetic doctrine. So many are called. Many are called. Trust me. In the 50 years that the master teacher's been teaching, many are called, but few are chosen.
Yeah, I feel like Wu-Sabat finds his people. You don't like Wu-Sabat doesn't force nothing on you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like religion, they kind of press it. Wu-Sabat is like, here's all the knowledge. It's up to you if you're gonna pick up to it, and whoever it coincides with is the people it chooses, and that's what I feel about Wu-Sabat. I think it chose me, and
I'm so glad you said that, and not from me, from my mouth. It's actually from somebody who bears testimony. So I'm glad you said that, and I appreciate that very much. Yeah, so we have to just really put out the frequency of our shook into this world. And I kid you not, when you read if you get that publication and you marry it to what the master's teaching in these books, the one I read out, that publication, if you do get hold of it and you read it and you begin to understand that language shapes your reality. You see what I'm saying?
That.
Yeah, language shapes your reality. And
what's that book called?
It's not a book, it's an article that was written. And that article, it correlates with a lot of the things that the masters put out. Do you know what I mean? Regarding language and frequency and tones and vibration. you know, and with that intensity in your purpose, in your chants and your language, as you speak it, it's like this. When the Adamites, when Adam, or let's go back to the biblical or the Sumerian creation of the Adam or the Lulu Amelu, when they were created, they were given a language, and God told them to name everything. You see what I'm saying? And what they've named everything is what now we are utilizing in our reality. You see what I'm saying? So they've given names and descriptions and what they call definitions in their dictionaries. You see what I'm saying? And we refer to those things. And even when we go to etymology, just to show people where these origins came from, it's always going back to them, the Indo-European languages, the Greek, the Latin.
Yeah.
You see? So now we have to now create the authority and become the authoritarians, you see what I'm saying, in our own reality. So when they say, that's why they can't define Wu-Sabat. You're not going to be able to find a definition of Wu-Sabat in their dictionaries because it's our stuff. They're going to try and explain it or say, what does that mean? You see what I'm saying? And we'll just say it's Wu-Sabat. We don't need to explain to you what it is. It's Wu-Sabat. And then you're going to have to, you know what I'm saying? So we have ownership. And it's the same thing that we have to apply to everything else. We have ownership. Once you start to think and feel that we have ownership in our own lives and in our race and culture, that's when it starts to permeate into the universe. You have to realize nature will work for you. Nature has always worked for you if you learn to work with nature.
Right. I believe that. I believe that 100%. I really do.
Yeah.
And I figured out like when something good happens for me, I have to give something up back to the universe, you know, like, and it kind of helped me come on this path that I am right now. Every time, you know, the universe does something for me, or I, you know, manifest something that I've been wanting to happen, you know, I kind of get better on myself. And this is the way I stopped eating meat and start, you know, getting healthy and stop, you know, hanging around with particular people or influences. Every time something happened for me, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this off today. Since this happened, I'm gonna cut that off. And next thing, you know, I start cutting off all the bad stuff. And just like you said, it wasn't hard for me to kind of detach from stuff. You know, once it's like once you start fasting, if you follow the rules of the fasting, you won't have no choice but to follow the rules of the fasting. You got to be real to it, you know, and that kind of puts you on the path to it, man. So everything's definitely connected, and whatever you give, it'll come back in certain ways, you know, good or bad. And I'm just looking for all the goods, brother. That's all.
Yeah.
So yes.
No, man, that's wonderful and that's beautiful to hear, my brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Wu-Sabat, wu-nuwaup. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings to you.
All right. To Jackie, and then anyone in the audience afterwards, yeah? Jackie, you're up for next. Rahubat, Jackie.
I didn't hear everything you said earlier regarding when one passes, and I was thinking that just this morning there was a funeral, you know, of a very devoted Christian, and I'm thinking that they're gonna meet up on this disagreeable spirit more than likely, you know, on when they pass over.
Yeah, sorry, Jackie, could you just repeat? Because I think it was quite low.
Once a person passes over, what is it that happens immediately?
Right. So you want me to read from the part Balag Yanun, yeah?
And I'm particularly concerned about somebody who's a Christian. Or it doesn't really matter, you know, what their background was.
Right, I'm with you. Okay, it does matter to some degree because you can have, unfortunately, you can have For instance, let me give an example. Somebody who has never come across Wu-Sabat, like our relatives that transition, our elderly relatives. Yeah, some of our grandmothers, grandfathers, elderly auntie, etc., never came across Wu-Sabat. But their genuineness and love and care and attention that they show to others, with me, it helps them in their journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, that is different when you are entrusted and exposed to Wu-Sabat and you choose to then still disown it or reject it. Because now you know better. They didn't know any better, but you now know. And then you rejected it. So let me read from, in fact, where is the book? Where's that book gone? Where's my book? It's,
so rejecting it would be not practicing Wu-Sabat?
Yes, rejecting it, and let me sorry, I've got one of my books missing. No, the Salvation, Bridge to Salvation. I had the book. That's really strange. Sorry, I just had the book and my book has gone missing. I took out all my books. Yeah, I thought much. Right, so Bridge to Salvation, I'll read something to you.
Did you say, can you say the name of that book again, that scroll?
Yeah, sure, it's called, oh gosh, falling apart. 1 second, let's get the page back in. All right, so this is called The Bridge to Salvation. All right. So just reading from right. This is from verse 112. I read from verse 112, Bridge to Salvation. So, Wu-Sabat has been inspired from the ancient ones in the Egyptian Misbatia Sabaig tongue, clearly by a script miraculous to distinguish triviality from sawab truth. Verse 113. Misbatia Sabaig by Naram tone will raise your vibrations concerning the transformation as you namuz, pray, implore, ranum, chant, and natuk, speak, practicing until you master it. Some have counterfeited our Milsan tongue and fabricated deceitfully to make money or impress. This will be exposed over time as I have, by steps, changed it and have revealed the message of Wu-Sabat, which is the real Milsan tongue of your Muslafu ancestors. I'm going to jump to verse 120. No, sorry, there you go. Verse 118. As for these ones, those who exchange hakakat, facts, for triviality and mislead our followers to the edge of the Mishar bridge to fall away or to renounce Pa Mumbab Yanun myself for them and believe in falsehood. They are the enemies of genuine Musbatu Sabians as well as enemies to our Muslal race as African people the world over. They will proclaim the world over they have the Sawab truth in religion and prescribe that others follow the Datat art, religions of Abraham, not African, Hazab art, cultures, Lahaj art, languages, Milbas, dress, Enka art, spirits they call on in prayer. This is wrong. They only speak falsely, for they practice takshush, deception, frequently. Though these arrogant and stubborn will fail inevitably, coming to realize they pray and call out to Na'ut Shaye, nothing, or no one, only Ranan'at, names made up by foreigners to draw them into their Takuk'at, faiths, and Akat'at, beliefs and illusions. Honestly, how? An unseen God, unheard God, how do you prove exists? Where? These are illusions taught as legends. Whenever it's urged upon those infidels to accept their own cultural way of life as Afaf Re'e Ka'au Africans, which is now revealed, just as many Musbatu Sabians the world over have done, they proclaim, are we to accept what that man says? Yet they are inferior infidels who cannot show and tabut prove what they claim and believe is their spook unseen Gadat God, by whichever Milsan tongue they call out to Na'ut Shaye, nothing. Just bear with me, I'll find the page. Right. Verse 253. Do you still look at your own African Salah race not as Nafirmu, beautiful, as the other Salalu races or mixed seeds? Can you bring this Hajj spell? Sorry, can you break this Hajj spell when you consistently practice his deceptions over you and your feelings, tasha'urat, emotions, likes and dislikes, and avoid your own prescribed natural nature by nature? So I, Pa Mumbab Yanun, on behalf of Pa Nataru, the overseers, your own ancestors, interrogate you. Why would you anticipate acceptance of your Muslafu ancestors while you obey the devil race? You have not shown khasus, respect to self and kin. You are of the vulnerable ones. How can you expect entry to Masbat, Sirius, and or Masa'a, Orion, our paradise, when you vehemently oppose our precepts and turn your back on and from Wu-Sabat? What awaits you across the bridge to your own salvation, returning to your own Muslafu ancestors? You who are gone astray from Wu-Sabat, you've allowed inside your Mukwan being an enemy against the Sawab truth. One of the 29 voices, all outside specters, the diabolical Ka'a'at, spirits who you allowed to overpower you. As a result of such possession, and or inner voice was an assault which hardened your Ibab heart. Specters or voices inside of your own past 4 Tansubat generations embellishes your horrendous Talmudat works, and you become one who is beguiled and bewitched. Yet, as for those of you who stay in Wu-Sabat, who trust their own Sawat voice and control their own Ka'a spirit, and have held on to Wu-Sabat, and have stood by our principles, you will eventually have the privilege of beholding the many faces of your Muslafu ancestors, and will enjoy the glorious mansions of Masbat, Sirius, and Masa'a, Orion, where they dwell forever. So, Musbatu Sabians, hearken to the aspiration of the heart, the actual facts, and not the gibberish of the liar of liars who Natuk speak only what Mu'adamites wrote in the Bible. Sawab truth will finally be triumphant, despite the appalling rejection of the wicked. Yet those who have been misled from Wu-Sabat continue to lift up their Sawat'at voices against Musbatu Sabians, and their Abab hearts have been driven very far from us. They have neither trusted us completely, nor are they investigating what I revealed to them over the Wakut time. It was only lip service they used to use. They have actually exchanged Sawab truth for untruth, Qadar fate for blind Takut faith, Tavbut confirmation for unconfirmed Akad'at beliefs. Thus, losing the straight way to takhlus, salvation. So, after turning from Wu-Sabat, the eventual lot is a life of utter disarray, and they will come to know all I have taught them was the Sawab truth. The white race will the Zaor reveal it to them, and they will be left behind as the great balls of fire strike. They will turn to Pa Mulbanu, the whites, and Warabu, Arabs, for help, who they don't even see can't help themselves, fighting and killing each other nowadays. And they have you believe some Kahin Mukwan divine being called God, Allah, Hashem, Ashadai, etc., will come and rapture them, yet has not been able to even protect his own house of worship during Harabat wars, destruction of synagogues, Maknasat churches, cathedrals, and Masjadat mosques. All of these are destroyed in these political datetus, Harabat, religious wars today. Okay, so basically, to answer your question, if you as a Sabian or you as a Nagaru are exposed to Wu-Sabat and you reject it, your transition or your transformation and your elevation is going to be hindered, or you will not transform at all, because it's about the acknowledgement of your ancestors. They're real. Well, how'd you know they're real? Because you came from your mother and father, who came from their mother and father, who came from their mother and father, all the way back to those ancestors. So you can confirm their existence. You can't confirm Isaac. You can't confirm Abraham. You can't confirm, yes, Jesus, or what they call Jesus. Do you know what I mean? They can't be confirmed. But you can confirm your ancestors because they all go back to a certain, there's a lineage, there's a blood link going all the way back to them. And a being has been sent, a warning has been sent for you to start to acknowledge and embrace and appreciate who your ancestors are. You see, so if that is not done, then you're going to be judged by that. While the ones who never came across Wu-Sabat, they'll be judged by their intention, their deeds, what they did while they were alive. You see what I'm saying? But you've been given that opportunity now. You can't say you didn't know. You see what I'm saying? And every person that we meet on the street, propagating, etc., even though they've just been exposed to it once, because of obviously all the indwelling 29 spirits, and they don't know this is going on. But we're trying to make them aware that you don't just have, it's not just you growing up and you didn't want to know about African spirituality or want to know about Wu-Sabat. Is because you have to recognize that there's spirit forces and relatives that are in your DNA that influence the way you think and feel and how you react and don't react. So that's what Wu-Sabat teaches you, that you have ancestors, spirit forces. No other doctrine, information teaches that. Instead, they teach it. The moment you mention spirit to a religious person, they automatically think it's a negative spirit. As soon as you say spirit, like, oh, don't want to know that. You see what I'm saying? You say ancestors, oh, don't want to know that. They automatically think ancestors, these are demonic things, going into voodoo and juju and things like that. As soon as you say ancestral worship, it's like a cognitive dissonance. They can't comprehend that you're linked into ancestors who may be doing obio or voodoo, etc. That's how they interpret it. Only because the same spirit forces that is controlling you are using voodoo and white magic on you. You see what I'm saying? They're the ones using it on you to keep you in that entrapment, but you don't realize that. So we are teaching people to be aware of these things, these realities, which they have no knowledge of. Yeah. So yeah. I hope that answers your question, Jackie.
Yes.
Was it Patricia or Jackie?
Yes, Jackie.
Okay, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we have more we have more responsibility upon us.
That's right. Yeah, we have a yeah.
Once we have what's about.
Yeah, we're connected to more than what we realize, and this is the reason why there's a perpetual cycle of not elevating, because we're caught up in their world. We're caught up in not knowing what to do in order to make the transition. So then we think that once we get to destination Earth and we die, religion then will teach us, oh, we're going to heaven, or if we do good, and if we're going to do bad things or negative things, we're going to go to hell, and then we'll be, living in purgatory and in a state of limbo for a long time, and then, the devil will, punish us, etc., or God will punish us by sending us to the. These are all the religious dogma that traps us. Entraps us in this state that we're in. So this is the why people think that once you're on earth, that's it. And if you go to heaven, well, it's a blessing. But nobody really knows where heaven is, because they just tell you it's up there where? You know what I mean? Up there floating in the sky. Is God floating somewhere in the sky? And then you refer them to Job 9:9 and all these places, and we tell them this is Orion and Sirius, etc., and Arcturus and Pleiades, you know what I mean? And then you start to, and Aldebaran. These are star constellations, which is mentioned in your own Bible. So it's showing you that beings came from there, but it's like it can't be comprehended by the average Christian. They just, Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. That's it. Yeah. So
how do I get all the instruction? About.
So, what's that, Zamalta?
How do I get all the guidance regarding living Wu-Sabat?
By studying the books. All the guidance that we ever need is in all of the books. Like the example I'll read here. Like, for instance, the master is got in the book called Dimensional Links. He explains here, this is the guidance. From a sender to you, the receiver, so also was in ancient times, by Mukwalu beings far more advanced, or Musyadu, Mutatalu extraterrestrials who are the old ones. The Muzraz, ancient ones existing so much longer, have developed the technology to transport four-dimensional images of themselves through Wakut time and space, beholding, appearing, and seeing, seemingly to the onlooker to be there physically, just as 3D TV or cinemas, but without the aid of glasses. But even far more advanced teleportation of the actual cells, tissues, and damag or magach, brain signals. An incarnated, a manzul, an incarnated one with jasad flesh in damam blood, or to come in a person as they in world, religion, opinion, all claim their prophet experienced. What do you think Chabatu angels really are? Who do you think Tayaf ghosts really are? Now you hold in your hands a cell phone and it can receive 3D images and cinemas. If you had that 50 years ago, what would those who did not know what it was think? Now all you would have to be given is tabraz, projection outward from your cell phone, and the image could be projected out in space, appearing to the right there, or in fact is right there. All this is the brain tissue at work, reasoning out things, putting together wasaf art formulas that yield results, all by way, and this is the guidance. Yeah, this is the process. This is part of the learning, all by way of heavy or deep tashad, concentration. So now when you read that, you have to, the masters put it in emboldened. What he normally does, he put things in bold. So what you have to go and do is study some of the things that he put in bold, like the word damam, blood. Okay, what is blood? What is blood constitutes of? Blood is constituted of plasma, proteins, certain things in there, this, that, etc. Yeah, that's what blood is composed of. What does blood do? What do these components do? This is how you study, and you start to get into quantum physics and understand your whole being. So once you start to, this is the steps that you have to do as a person if you want to understand what the universe is, okay? Because the universe works on the same type of formula. So continue to what I reading here. So you know that concentration, study what concentration is. concentration is the art of focusing. So now you have to put that into your own practicing. And then you find out what things can I use to do focusing with. Well, you can light a candle, you see what I'm saying, and focus on that candle light for a few minutes to an hour, or not an hour, sorry, 5 minutes, and extend it. And the more you keep extending it, the more your focus and your concentration gets stronger. What does concentration do? Concentration leads to meditation. You see what I'm saying? So, and then it says, on your Salafu ancestors. So concentrate on, focus on your ancestors, your relatives. Then you make that genetic link, spiritual to spirits. Yeah, your inner powers start to then be activated. So the what I'm saying is that this is just in one book. And there's many parts of this book where you start to learn about the gold that's in your DNA. Just what I'm saying, there's certain tones, that's just in one book. You go to another book, it tells you here, it says that, yet the Negro in the world over under unfamiliar spirits are getting nothing except death, maraz, disease, and abuse from all others, and still reject who and what they are by natural nature, Africans of animism. Until they return to their own, us, their family Africans, they will remain abused and poor, and a few sell their morals or ba'a'u souls to the Labin Salah white race to get in music, cinema, strip, and get a little wealth and fame. Yet there's no connection to their own Salafu ancestors. It means nothing except show. They receive no help, still being abused, killed by the white race. So now what do? You say, okay, I'm now conscious and aware that this is what's taking place. I need to distance myself from certain things regarding what the Caucasian man teaches about who I am. Yeah, so there's many aspects of what the master is teaching in Wu-Sabat that will give you the tools and the ammunition to protect yourself and to strengthen your spiritual being. Yeah, so does that make sense?
It makes sense. There are a lot of books.
Yeah,
there are many books.
There's many books, but that's why we have the classes, so that you can, we become the book. You know, I'm not bragging and boasting when I'm saying this, but you have many student teachers on many levels. I'm not even, you know, I can say I'm pretty good, yeah, but there's student teachers who got a wealth of, they can quote you this and that, and they can link this much better than even what I'm doing. Yeah, and so we're on different levels, but we're all learning. We have, you know, certain platforms that we learn together. You get what I'm saying? Share little tidbits and knowledge, etc. When one teacher's not sure about one thing, they'll check it out and bring it, and then we all share it. So we're learning. And one thing the master said in one lecture, he said that I want you all to become part of the learning process. Just what I'm saying? So you no longer believe, you now know. You see, because religion just teaches you to just believe. They don't say, go and seek out what Abraham means or where he came from or what language he spoke. They just say, Abraham, descendant of this, Jacob, and then had Jesus, and Jesus the light of the truth in the world. And you must believe Jesus, and that's it. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how you be a true savior. We don't teach it like that. You become part of the learning process. So there's unfortunately, no, I won't say unfortunately, but there's a lot of books that you have to, but we you know, become the compendium, let's just say, you know, where we're able to give you bits of the information, and then you can go away, you know, after you've done your study, you know, research, you know, take notes, and then go and do your research and come back with more questions until you're in a better position to be able to either purchase the books for yourself, you see what I'm saying, or if you come to the question and answer classes in your area, I don't know where you're based, but if you can attend, it's much better, because one thing as well that is not really acknowledged is that when we come together, go and study what neurogenesis does when we come together. Yeah, neurogenesis is very good for mental health problems, because once we gather together, okay, we're all being able to grow new neurons. Do you see what I'm saying? So actually having that camaraderie and togetherness and doing our cultural dances and all of these aspects of what a culture means or who people are, you know, it actually grows new neurons. So go and study neurogenetics, genesis. Okay, and the master's written a book about it as well. He writes a lot of books on many different subjects. So, but yeah, all right, we've got 10 minutes, family. So if you have any other question, oh, sorry, let me just read. You got a question, yeah? Let me just read something. And Patricia, I see you as well. Says, JM says, I play the chants, and my granddaughter, 5 years, sometimes around me, has picked up and on her own recites them in bits. That's right. That's beautiful. That's exactly what we have to do. We have to, the next children that come into the world, they have to be on the level of Wu-Sabat. Yeah. So yeah, definitely that's really beautiful to know. Yes, my brother. And then Patricia, I'll see you afterwards.
So well, I've got two things I wanted to ask. I'll start off with the first thing, which basically goes back to what the subject of the class was. Yeah.
Sure.
So, I was doing some research just into Homo habilis, Homo sapien, Mantis, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, Homo naledi. I was doing my research and I came across the Abzu.
The Abzu.
The Abzu.
Okay, that's Sumerian, right?
It is Sumerian.
Yeah.
It's something I came across.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's located on the most southern tip of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where all the lakes, springs, rivers, fountains, rain, and floods originate from.
Okay.
My question is this one word's gone up. We have been speaking about it a few times today. Is it a portal? And if so, can you give a bit of information as to the type of portal it is?
It's, you know what? Do you have the copy of the Holy Tablets? Or can you get?
I've got access.
Right. So the Holy Tablets, there's an actual part in the Holy Tablet that talks about the Abzu. It's an inner world. It's an inner world. So if you look at the word Ab and Zu. Yeah, Ab means door or doorway. Yeah, and Zu is to do with the inner caverns or the world of Zuen. You saying because the Zu, like, you know, we have Zupu and Nupu. Yeah, Zu is to do with that what's the word? What am I looking for? Region. Yeah, the region of the sixth ether, the red zone. Yeah, so that'll be the red zone. You know what I'm saying? Where certain beings utilize as a doorway to get into the inner caverns. But so that's the Abzu. It actually means the inner world.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Okay. There's a cosmology behind that, but I guess that's Mesopotamian.
That's right. Yeah. But if you read the Holy Tablets, I'm sure there's a part talking about that Abzu, and it even talks about Nergal and Ereshkigal and him going through the inner caverns. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's been a while since I read it, but I'm pretty sure it's in the Holy Tablets.
I'll do my research on it. Sure. All right, the second one kind of relates to what the brother was saying earlier about Ptah. And I'm gonna go back to the paragraph we spoke on last week, if you remember. So ontology? Yes. Is Egyptian ontology or mythology. Okay, it's about the eight, the Ogdoad. So 2 seconds. Let me just read this bit first. And then I'll build from there. So this is verse 56 on page 29. So it is recorded that Tum took form as Atum out of the primeval deep of Nun. That's Nuntat. Is it Nuntat Nun?
Yeah.
Nuntat
It's basically talking about feminine and masculine forces. Yeah.
Okay. And became Yanun, or Patatum, Retum, Atum, Re, as the snake, or holding his snake, he being of the frog as a male, Yao, Cook, Hu, Nun, out of the snakes as females, Nyot, Kuktet, Hutet, Nuntet. Now, those all together, that's the 8 Ogdoads, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to get a bit more of an understanding on these 8 Ogdoads, and do they have anything to do with the Dogon, I guess their deities of Nomo?
No,
Or if I'm saying
there's a correlation in as much as that there were sea creatures. There were also reptilians. You see what I'm saying? There's many species of reptilians, or what's the word for them? What's another word for it? It's coming in my head. But water beings, let's just put there's water beings that came from the Sirius star system, because it wasn't just that system was vast.
Yes.
So a lot of them left to find other homes, and Earth being Tiamat, the maiden of life, because it's a water planet, it suited their their habitat. It suited the environment that they could live in. So many of them chose to live in the waters. Do you understand? Yeah. So the Ogdoads, they were the original ones that were seeded on this planet and became your sirens or mermen and what they call mermaids. You understand? That would have been your Ogdoads.
And it was only 8 of them.
8, that's right. Because those 8 were then set to then diversify over cycles. So when you say Nun Tat, that was one cycle. Hatat will be another cycle. Tat will be another cycle. And you're dealing with cycles of millions of years. Does that make sense? Yeah. So they were evolving through the cycles, and then as they're evolving, different variations of them came on land eventually. To make your 9 species of Nagaru. Does that make sense? So before they got from the 8, then they became the 9. That's where you have Atum, and then you have Shu, Tefnut, etc. That will be your 9. Exactly. And Ha would have been your one that was born on this planet. So Ha was a unique one because he didn't have a duality. He didn't have a counterpart.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Yes, yeah, exactly. He was born by himself because his mother, Ashtat and thing, his father was, killed, etc., symbolically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ha, and then Ha was given a unique gene that was placed on the 20th chromosome, which had the ability to, what they refer to as accelerated region. Yeah, what they call the HA1 gene, human accelerated region. And that human accelerated region is that it has the ability to diversify into all types. So you can live in water, you can live in land, your brain can change. It has that. That's why it's known as a HA1 gene. And the master actually put that out before they came across it. Or he put it out and then they said, oh, they found out that HA1 gene exists on the 20th chromosome. But he put it in, when you read the book My Brother the Extraterrestrial, he predicts in there, or tells us the president Obama, when he was going to become president, and he also told us about the HA1 gene. This was way before they even found out. Do you know what I mean? So these are the things that you start to realize who this being is, because he's told us years before it even happened. But yeah, so from Ha now, Ha then produced, he had his mate who produced Haptwi, and Happy Ray or Happy produced the other children, and from that came your different tribes. You see what I'm saying? And those tribes became your Ashanti, Mande, Mali, etc., all the way down, migrating from the Sudan and Egypt and migrating to West Africa. You see what I'm saying? So the chieftaincy or the origin of our nation or tribes came from the original seed of Ha and them. So we had certain ceremonies. When you go into Africa or go into the Ghana tradition, especially, you see certain things that relates back to ancient Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Like when the king is sitting on his throne and he has a spirit in front of him, which represents he has a child in front of him, which represents his spirit. You see this in ancient writings with Ptah. There's a natural child that sits in front. You see what I'm saying? You have the king, he has got his cutlass and thing. That's Osiris. when he has that, the cook and the flail. So there's certain similarities that you start to see. You have names like, for instance, Asari, and the word Asari, it goes back to Asar. You see what I'm saying? So there's certain things that you can see in the Ghana traditional culture and many other cultures, Nigeria, etc. You see the similarities because what they were doing is they were killing off the priests. So the priests had to go and hide the teachings.
You say they mean?
Yeah, Europeans and foreign invasions. They were killing off the priests. The master teacher even explained that, you know, Zechariah, he was a high priest. Mary, the mother of Jesus, her uncle Zechariah, Elizabeth and Zechariah, he was a high priest that they murdered because he was holding on to certain secrets. So they didn't want any secrets being passed down through the family. Do you know what I mean? Or the lineage. So that their time's up. Unfortunately, we're about to run out of time, and I've got security staring at me. So yeah, so go wrap it up. I'll read this last one before we go, if I've been permitted, security. Gonna take 1 minute. Right. So this is from and again, I apologize I didn't get to all your questions in time. But I hope it's a stimulating class, and I hope you turn up for more and for our next student teachers. Verse 25 from Earth, the birth of Earth and the Matrix. It's based on the supreme mathematics or Mamtat matrix of this planet is 8 digits. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. 3 times 8 equaling 24. So the matrix of this planet relates to its genome. Planet 24 or Taha Earth was a project of the Ka'a spirit and Ba'a soul, Mukwan being sent here to Munzul, incarnate or grow into sun genes and had an assignment if they were to return. So you had Athunu, Rabu, Kamamu, 24 elders, 12 males and 12 females, Muhanu, overseers, from Sa'at, Orion, and Sabat. You have 24,000 miles in circumference. You have 24,000 years to an equinox. You have the root race Melanonite Kharadu children, the first world Salah race Nagaru Negroids, 24,000 genomes. You have 24 hours of the day and night. You have the element chromium, 24. You have 24 colors of light. You actually have 24 signs of the star map, Dendara or zodiac. So the Mumbatu golden children, Melanonites, were given 24 accomplishments to master within the 24,000 years to be welcomed home as part of the galactic system of worlds from this one universe into the Kale Makwanat omniverse. The Nagaru Mukwanu Negroids were given 24,000 years to accomplish these 24 heights of perfection. I'll leave it there. To be continued. Okay. Moisar, appreciate your time. I shook to everybody. I do apologize I didn't get to everyone. I could be heard loud and clear on all the platforms. I wish you much ashuk and love, and have a great day tomorrow, whatever you're doing. Tune in for next class. Ask your questions, seek, probe. If you want to become a member, go to UnitedSabiansWorldwide.com. We have our classes on the chat inside the store or online on Zoom and also Clubhouse. And also tune into OSM Vision on Tuesdays, where we can also break down with our brother Seken Sacham Reye. I think that's it. Wish you all the best, everybody, and Ashok Wu-Wadu.
Zamal,
Sure.
excuse me. Tuesday, what time do you be home?
Tuesday, 7 p.m. UK time.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. Ashok.
Ashok Wadu.
Ashok Wadu.
Wadu Moisha.
Ashok.
Wadu.